Graham, let's start with the media speculation that has hit the headlines over the course of the last 24, 48 hours with regards to Neal Maupay and why he wasn't involved at the weekend, an alleged incident after the game against West Brom. Is this all a storm in a teacup, or is there something more to it? Could you bring us up to speed with exactly what happened?
Yeah, good way to put it. I think I spoke, I think, before the game and spoke about, you know, tactical reasons, and I think when I use the word tactical, it can be you know, it can be seen as it's a 4-2-3-1 or a system or a formation, and sometimes you've got to make decisions that is the right for the group. I think, yeah, there's sometimes mistakes are made and tempers are high and people are frustrated and emotional, and you sort of want that, really, to a certain extent. There's just, we're in professional sport, the highest level, and sometimes the line, you know, gets crossed, and it's about then how you react to that. There's no problem with Neal. It's something that we've dealt with as an incident, and we've sort of moved forward from it. He's been training with the group. He accepts that it wasn't his finest hour, but he's a young man that's gonna make mistakes, like we all do and have done, and he then takes responsibility for them, and we move forward as a group, and we're stronger for it.
For you, Graham, as the manager, how frustrating is it on one hand to have to leave out a player who is your top goal scorer? On the other hand, you must be pleased that there is passion and fight and desire to turn things around at the club.
No, exactly, and I think it'd be nice if we could just sit here and everything's rosy and everything's good, but that's not my job. That's not what I'm here for. My job is to try to make the right decisions for the team, for the club, and for the individuals involved, to do them with the best intentions, to try to help people improve, to try to help people get better. And I think by doing that, then whatever it is, whether it's good or bad, it's just it isn't necessarily good or bad, shall I say? It's just what it is, and you have to deal with it. And so yeah, I'm like I said, I'm happy with how we've responded. I'm happy with the way the group has reacted to everything, and yeah, we're moving forward.
We'll start with the team news ahead of the game with Burnley then. So presumably Neal Maupay is back into contention to play and be involved.
Yeah, he's been training with the group, and without revealing too much for Sean and my squad, he's available for selection. Ali Razor's trained as well today, so that's good for us. See how he reacts over the next couple of days. We've still got a couple more days as well. Solly March, we'll have to wait on a little bit more, I think, towards the you know, closer to the game before we see how possible it is for him.
And when you look at this match, both sides perhaps haven't started the way they would have liked to in the Premier League this season. How defining could this be for Brighton?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't like to use that word. I think both myself and Sean would say, yeah, it'd be great to win the game. You know, that's normal because it's our next one, and where the league table is at the moment, of course. But at the same time, we're 7-8 games in, whatever it is at that point. So there's a long way to go. From our perspective, we do always as we do, which is to try to focus on the next game, to try and focus on this game, to do our best to try to win, to have the respect of our opponent, because they'll be doing the same, and they've got some good players, and they've won points in the Premier League before, so we know all about their qualities. So we just approach it with that humility and at the same time ambition, because like you say, it'd be nice for us to get the 3 points.
Quick word on Tariq Lamptey, if I may. He's had an incredible start to the campaign, the most fouled player in the Premier League. How pleased are you with his progress? And inevitably, when a player starts to do well, people start talking about them, and then the bigger clubs start to circle. Is there potential for a new contract to be offered fairly soon for a player that's been so good for you?
Well, I think we've been delighted with Tariq since he's been here. It's great to see a young player like him come in and grasp the opportunity. I think he fits in really well with our club, with our team. There's a lot of young players that are making their starts in Premier League football. So it's important to have role models like him to see that, okay, we can find an environment where he can enjoy his football, and that's ultimately the most important thing for Tariq. Everything else takes care of itself. The most important thing is we create an environment for him that he enjoys and he wants to be part of, and he enjoys his football, because then his quality will show through.
And finally from me, we are about to head into another nationwide lockdown, but football will continue as normal. Have you had to speak to your players and just remind them of their responsibilities? Obviously their world carries on as normal, but off the pitch they have to remember that they are professionals, they are icons, they are in the public eye, and they have responsibilities as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think credit to the Premier League. I think they've done a good job in terms of creating the environment that we have here, and we need, we will continue with that. I think the things they've put in place, we've been working with over the last few months, if you like. So I don't think too much will change from our perspective, but absolutely we need to understand the situation we're in on the wider context, and I'm sure the players will do that. Thanks,
Graham. Good luck for Saturday.
Cheers. Thank you.
Just first of all, I spoke to you after the Spurs game, and I said it's a big game coming up. And I know you said it's still early on in the season, but do the respective positions in the table affect your approach to the game and how you think about tackling it?
No, I don't think we look at the table in terms of how we approach the match. I think we look at the opposition we're playing, we look at ourselves, we try to play well, we try to do the things that we want to do, and like I said before, to respect the opponent and understand what they do and what they're strong at and maybe not so strong at. So I think that's the challenge, to focus on the match, not necessarily the external factors, which are the league table or whatever else it is. It's just to focus on the game.
Looking at Burnley, do you think they're the same as you in a way, in the fact that performances have maybe merited better results than they've had so far?
Yeah, I think when you watch them back, a lot of their games, you can see that, again, the fine margins that I speak about, they could have gone the other way and they'd be sitting with a completely different picture, if you like. So I think that's the nature of the Premier League. There's always teams that are on the wrong end of those margins, and Sean's experienced enough to know that, and he's experienced enough to work through that, and has the quality to do that. So I'm sure that's what they'll be doing, as that's what we're trying to do. And the more you work and the harder you work and the more you stick together, do the right things, the greater the chance, because it is the Premier League, as I keep saying, it's the greater the chances that things can turn into your favour.
Do you think it's just a bit lazy, some people saying that Burnley have been figured out this season? Because I've seen that sort of stated in some media outlets.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for me to comment on how people interpret situations. Everybody interprets them in a different way. Sometimes how they perceive it is not the reality. I think from our perspective, I see the quality that Burnley have. I see what they do well. I've got a huge respect for Sean, because the job that he's done there at that club is amazing. And I think you underestimate them and you write them off at your peril. That's certainly nothing that we'll be doing. We treat them with the utmost respect, and we'll try our best to win, of course. But we know that it's another Premier League opponent, and we'll have to fight and we'll have to play well, and we'll have to have the luck and the margins to go in our way. It's as simple as that.
And just finally from me, what kind of reaction have you had from Matty and Neil in training? Because obviously, I guess they'll be raring to go after being left out on Sunday.
Really positive, really good. As you can imagine, two experienced players, important players that want to play. So they want to get back on the training pitch and perform as best they can and show their qualities, which they've done.
Hi, Graham.
Hi. Hi, James.
Graham, you spoke there about Matt Ryan missing out on the game on Sunday. How has he responded to that, and does he understand the reasons why he missed the game against Spurs?
Like I said before, he's responded really well, and he's a professional. He wants to play. He's disappointed when he doesn't. I've got 26 or 27 or 28 of the players that have the same thoughts. I think on the one hand, it's, of course, we have to think about Matt, but it's also good for Rob. I think it's good for our academy. It's good for how we see the football club developing medium to long term. That it's another player that has made their Premier League debut from our academy, which is something to be proud of. So. Yeah, it's always the case. There's competition for places. There's decisions to be made. You try to make them with the best intentions, and then you're looking for everybody to react as positively as you can. I must say the group that we have here, the professionalism, the togetherness is really, really strong, and then everybody just gets on with it and tries to make my job difficult by playing really well.
And for Neil, did he understand why he had to be left out of that game on Sunday? And do you think he'll come back from this a better character and he'll learn from the experience?
Yeah, part of the process is, of course, explaining and educating and helping and supporting. It's not about whether he's a better character or not. It's just part of the process of being a human being. When I was younger, I did some things that I look back on now and maybe think with hindsight and with a bit of age and perspective, you do things differently, but that's part of life. I think that's part of growing up as a person. So there's no problem with that at all. We just have to help each other, support each other, and when we make mistakes, we have to deal with them and act responsibly and then move forward.
And just finally from me, Graham, no win in the league since that Newcastle game. But when you look at the performances that you've put together in recent weeks, do you feel like you're close to getting that elusive win?
Well, we hope so, because we know that we're in this business to get results, and that's the most important thing. We've been in this position before. That's what the Premier League can do to you. You can go a long time between wins. And I think it's how you work, then how you react, how you stick together is so important. Sometimes in football you can't control the result. That's what makes the game so beautiful. But what you can do is try to focus on your performance and try to work hard to improve and to take the next step forward. And that's what we're trying to do. And we'll try our best to take the 3 points. But again, I'm sure our opponent will be doing the same as well.
Cheers, Graham. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there, Graham. You mentioned about results. You've only actually got one less point than you had at this stage last season. So is there a little bit of perspective needed in terms of this stage of the season?
Well, I think if you compare the results, like in terms of the games we've played, I think as well, we're sort of where we were last year, pretty much. I'm talking if you the direct comparison with the fixtures. But yeah, I mean. I think that it's normal when results. We all want to win, Johnny. That's just the reality of it, isn't it? You know, believe you me, I want to win. My wife and my kids want me to win because they can see that the dad and the husband isn't particularly much company for them at the moment. And I'm sure it's the same with our supporters. It's the same for everybody involved in the club. At the same time, I think people have got to. Also, I think they appreciate the performances that we've been putting in. So it's not all doom and gloom, but it'd be nice for us to have some more points. And at the same time, we need to work hard to get those. Always respect the fact that we're in the Premier League and our opponents are talented and they have got quality and they're after exactly the same as us. So that's just part of the challenge. But you know, we're so fortunate to be where we are, and I think you can look at it in a negative way, or you can look at it as a fantastic opportunity to develop your character, develop your resilience, develop your game, develop your club, develop your team. It's what we're here for.
You mentioned resilience. That's a word that comes up when you talk about Burnley. Do you think Sean Dyche maybe doesn't get the credit that he deserves for what he's achieved at that club over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not sure. I don't read too much about what external people write about Sean Dyche, but from my own perspective, I was out of the country for a long time, and I look from the outside and I just think it's a wonderful job that he's done there. An amazing job for where the club was to where it is now. I think too easily criticised for the wrong things. Don't look at the things they do really well. Football is not that complicated. It's about scoring one more goal than the other person, and they do that well. They've done that consistently well to get the points in the Premier League that they've got historically. They should be really proud of that. And I think when you watch them, how they play, they mix the game up well. They can do defending high, they can do defending deep, they can play maybe a bit more direct, but they've also got footballers that can pass the ball. So I just see a good team with a good manager, top manager, and like us all at some points going through a bit of pain at the moment. But they've got the quality, they've got the resilience, they've got the attributes to come through that, I'm pretty sure.
And just finally, you mentioned a lot about Neil Maupay, but what about Aaron Connolly? I mean, he was omitted as well at the weekend. What's the situation with him?
Well, I think he's a young player that's learning to be in the Premier League, that has some ups and downs, which you'd expect. He's a great kid. We like him a lot. We believe in him a lot. Sometimes it's right for others to take the spot instead of him. Sometimes he'll be involved, but there's no problems with Aaron. He's working hard. He wants to play for the team, wants to play for us, and he's doing his best to get in the team.